After that, we warm up. It won't necessarily feel as warm as it will in New Orleans, but we all warm up to well above average. Yeah, I think we're going to be talking about, anywhere from 10 to 12 degrees above average for a couple of days stretch, no less. It's not just once and done, so that's always nice. Looking at storm scan, it's quiet now. You do still have some snow working its way off the Carolina coastline, but here locally, you've got nothing more than a couple of clouds. It is generally clear and definitely cold as a result. Looking at the jet stream and the difference in the color contouring, recall that the darker the shades, the blues, the purples, the colder the air. But when you start to see some brighter colors like this, it's good news if you like the warmth anyway. Now, Friday is generally still what's seasonable. So you sort of level off here into green territory, but with time into Saturday, as well as Sunday, as well as Monday, those colors start to shift. More and more yellow and even some orange starts to work its way north by this point. So very, very warm air before an inevitable drop on the thermometer, which you'll notice here, waiting off to the west here with a new frontal passage coming in. For the meantime, though, it is nice and clear. Yesterday, I didn't even show this camera because you couldn't see anything. It was so hazy and so dark and gray out over the Delaware River here. Any of the ice that we had on the Delaware, that looks like it's pretty much gone at this point. But off in the distance, you can even make out the Center City skyline for the first time in a few days. Looking forward, though, in the Eyewitness Weather 7-day, yeah, this is good stuff if you like it. Mild, low 50s right through the weekend. And if you are the procrastinator as I am and have yet to take your Christmas decorations down, this would be a good excuse to do that. Finally,
Katie,
Misha.
you haven't taken them down yet?
It's Katie, I went out to get some coffee. It is pretty cute. I went out to get some coffee and it felt like Antarctica out there. I know we talk about it all morning. It's so cold, it's so cold. And then I go outside, I'm like, oh my God, it's so cold.
It is cold. Yeah. And luckily it's not terribly windy on the sky deck right now, but it is cold, that you do need to have that heavy winter coat ready to go. And there could still be a breeze that continues at least through the rest of the afternoon, but it should ease up at least tonight. And really, this is the worst of it. So that's always helpful too. And we've had certainly a decent amount of snowfall so far for the season. That's actually where we're going to turn our focus to start things off. Just give you a sense of how we're doing so far this winter. We've certainly had enough snow days, right? And now we've actually cracked past the foot mark here. 12.9 inches thus far for the city anyway for the season. Now in January we had just over 4 inches that has fallen so far, but there's still a lot of winter left, so we'll see how we do here. But yesterday's system wasn't all that impressive. We only ended up with 0.2 of an inch. Places like the Blakesley up at Jack Frost Big Boulder, for example, 9 inches out of that one frontal boundary. So it really was a very stark gradient that crossed our area here with that front. And this is all that's left of it at this point. And we even had still some lingering snow off the Virginia and Carolina coastline since early this morning. It's all finally making its exit. High pressure is settling in, and it is setting up shop. I mean, it's actually very quiet across the vast majority of the United States here too. So you still actually have snow still on the ground as far south as places like Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. It's not very much, but that gave you an idea of just the extent of that frontal boundary. It was all the way down, even into the Gulf of Mexico with its energy. So it really did bring about some very, very cold air, which is still in place for the rest of today. But with time, with high pressure now in place, you're going to see that wind flow turn more southerly. That's going to allow the temperatures to really begin their rebound. So while today is cold, tomorrow is a lot more seasonable. Saturday is about 10 degrees above average, and that's a theme for us right through the weekend. So this is nice news if you are a fan of the warmth, and especially if you've got plans to be out tailgating. You're going to be walking around the city, maybe doing a little pub crawl, perhaps something like that between quarters. Whatever your thing is, it looks good here, and that's going to continue even into Monday. But there is a new disturbance that starts to move in by that point. Here's a look, though, at current temperatures here in the low 30s from Philly down to Wilmington. Perhaps we end up, into the mid 30s here. That's the best you can hope for, though, for the rest of the day. It's pretty cold out there. Thankfully, the worst of the wind is starting to ease up, as I mentioned, but we'll show you those wind speeds in a second. Sun glare. That is the hidden issue that comes along with days like this. Yes, you've got bright blue sky and sunshine, but especially against that fresh snowpack, and especially for the afternoon and evening rush, when you're traveling westbound, maybe, you're going to run into some pretty wicked sun glare. So be ready for that. Hopefully you packed your shades if you're watching us from the office right now. Wind speeds, here they are. They're still up there. In some places, you're as high as the teens or even the 20s. So it's still a noticeable wind. When it does blow, you've got to knock 5 to 10 degrees off for your wind chill value. But let's talk about the rest of tonight. We're looking pretty typical all in all, down to 20 degrees, clear, calm, cold, certainly, but the wind will have eased up. Then we jump you all the way to Sunday, when at 6:40 kickoff, 43 degrees. That's above your normal daytime high. And by by this point, the sun's starting to set at least. So other than a few clouds overhead, it really looks like the best we could possibly hope for if you were hoping for warmth. But that said, too, you're looking at some great tailgate weather here with the temperature rebounding to about 50 degrees through the course of the afternoon. Here's your 7-day forecast. Yeah, we're on the up and up here. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we're in the low 50s. Late Monday, though, is our next chance for some wet weather, and it would come in the form of rain. Guys?